Hello, in this tutorial we will show how to perform winding resistance and demagnetization test using DV-Power handheld winding resistance testers such as TWR-H or RMO-TH devices. To perform these two tests we need to go to the full test and we can optionally enter transformer information using alphanumeric keypad. Then we need to select transformer configuration. We can select three-phase transformer, single-phase transformer, or a CT, current transformer. In our case, we have a three-phase transformer with DYN 11 vector group. Then we can select whether our transformer has tap changer or no. We have a tap changer with 5 tap positions. After that, we need to select test type. In our case, we'll perform winding resistance and demagnetization test. And we need to select test parameters for winding resistance test. So we measure both high voltage and low voltage side. We select test currents for each of them. And we need to select demagnetization current, which will be the same as the winding resistance test current for high voltage side, 1 amp. We are ready for the test. We can select which tap to test first, and we will start with testing tap 1. And the instrument instructs us to first test H1, H2 phase of the transformer. When we have connected cables to H1, H2, we can start the test. When the test current is injected, the instrument starts measuring winding resistance, and when the result is stable, we can press on button and we can press next to go to the next sequence. Now the instrument instructs us to connect cables to H3, H2 terminals. When we switch cables, we can start testing the second phase of the high voltage side. So the current is injected, the result is stable. We can press on button and we go to measuring next sequence, third phase. We move cables and we start the test. So the resistance is stable. We press on button and we go to measuring next sequence. Now we need to connect low voltage cables to first phase. have stable result. And we go to the next sequence. Now we need to switch cables to second phase on the low voltage side. When we have done that, we can start measuring second phase of the low voltage side. We have stable resistance, and we can go to the measuring third phase of the low voltage side. We reconnect the cables and we start measurement. Now the next sequence offered is demagnetization, but since we want to perform demagnetization after DC tests, after winding resistance tests in all 5 taps, we will skip demagnetization in the first tap. So we press skip 3 times, and we have here all the results in the tap 1 for all 3 phases, high voltage and low voltage side. We can now press the next button, and we need to select the next tap we are going to measure, which will be tap 2. So we move tap changer to position 2, and we can now start measuring winding resistance in tap 2. We moved cables to H1, H2. The procedure is the same as for the tap 1. So we measure 3 phases of the high voltage side, one after another. Now, because we have measured low voltage winding resistances when we measured first tap, we will skip measuring low voltage resistances in the second tap position. And of course we will again skip the demagnetization because we want to perform demagnetization after we test all taps. Here we have the winding resistance results of all three phases in tap 2, and we can go to measuring tap number 3. Again, we will skip measuring low voltage side resistances as we have already measured them, and we will skip demagnetization. We have results in tap 3, and we can go to tap 4. We connect cables to H1, H2, and we repeat the same procedure as we did for previous taps. Of course, we will skip measuring low voltage side resistances, and we will skip demagnetization in tab 4. So we have the results for tab 4. And finally, we can move tab changer to tab number 5 and test it. We have finished testing high voltage side resistances in tab 5. We will skip measuring low voltage side resistances. And now, because we have done all the winding resistances, we will perform demagnetization in tab 5. So for DYN11, first demagnetization sequence is between H1, H2 terminals, which corresponds to the first phase or phase A of this transformer. The next sequence is demagnetization between H3, H1. And this corresponds to the third phase or phase C of this transformer. So demagnetization is first done on outer phases, and the last sequence will be demagnetization of the phase B, or the middle leg of the transformer core. So we connect cables to H2, H3, and we start the last demagnetization sequence. When we have done it, we can press the next button and we have the winding resistances of tap 5. And we can now press the finish button, which means we have finished all the tests. And if we go to the results on the record number 24, we have our results: high voltage, low voltage winding resistance. We haven't done turns ratios, so these are empty. And of course we have winding resistances for all 5 taps. That's it for this tutorial. Thank you for watching.